then I'm happy.
Okay.
Come on. I think we are live. Okay, so hey everybody, this is Johnny. We're here with MDI. Today we have a very great honor to have one of my old friend, actor, and now becoming a talented filmmaker, award-winning filmmaker, and potentially in the future will beat the crap out of me in better style everything. George Tutie. Hey George, say hi to everybody, please.
Hello, everyone.
So tell us a little bit about how you started. Actually, it's surprising. I already have 8 people watching this thing, so they've been waiting for you. Wow. Tell us a little bit about how you started. How did you become an actor, and where did you go from there?
I started. My sister was doing like modeling through, I think, like Barbizon or Stone Model and Talent or something like that, and she was doing some kind of audition thing for IMTA or something, and they were accepting auditions to come out and do this thing, and I figured, why not? I'll come. And I auditioned for some people, and it they liked me, and I kind of liked doing it. So it kind of went from there. It's funny because not too long after I did that audition and kind of started getting into it is when I auditioned for your film, The Rapture, and then I kept sticking with it. So
yeah, okay, that's always fun to experience. Yeah, how was it like when you first got involved with The Rapture? Even though it's my movie, but we never actually talk about your experience. How was it like for you? Almost like the first feature film you got involved, right?
Yes, for my first feature, it might have been my first anything.
Jeez.
That was a whole new world. I remember coming to that audition. There was a lot of people at that audition, if I remember correctly, and very intimidating. I remember walking in there, not knowing anybody, and I went into the audition and I did the read or whatever it was, and I think you asked me if I had any martial arts experience, and I mentioned Kenpo, which I only had like a year of experience with. And I'm like, I got to do anything to show them that I can do this. And I don't know, you saw something in me, and I got called back, and we went from there. And it was really different, and I was very nervous, very scared. But nervousness and scared always work for me because I kind of use that and put it into whatever I'm doing, whether it be acting or sports or anything, and it's always kind of worked for me, and I use that to my advantage when I get nervous.
Yeah. I remember back then you were so quiet. That's the funny thing. Almost every other first actor I ever talked to or worked with, first time they're always so quiet, not say a word. And then now they become all talkative, like you. You're like DJing and partying and everything else. You were not like that before then.
No, I was not.
Look at that. Josh Miller already just said, George is my favorite person to work with. Oh, how nice.
I love working with Josh too. So.
And then Ken Carpenter already said Rapture was good. So, see, people like to enjoy the movie. I think we did crazy. It was your first time also in wire work. So that you were doing a lot of flying all over the places. Fortunate, good thing you didn't break any toes or ankle while you're doing all this flying around.
Yeah. I love the wire work. That stuff was friggin' awesome. I could do that all day.
Yeah, but we can't do that all day. That's a lot. I mean, I remember that today, for the final battle when you had to fly over E. Ray Goodwin, that took a bunch of practice to get it right.
Oh yeah, and you guys wanted me to wear a knee pad, and I ended up being like, no, I won't wear that knee pad. And I remember at the end of the shoot, I'm like, oh gosh, I should have wore that knee pad.
Yeah. All this jumping around and bending your knees, everything else, that can become a little bit stressful for you. So What happened after that project, The Rapture? What did you do?
I kind of like bounced around a little bit. I started getting into that was later on. I moved to California at one point, and I moved to New York at one point, both times not lasting very long, just craziness in my life. But I signed with MGMT or something like that in New York. That lasted for like a year, 2 years. They were okay. I got some gigs from them. It's kind of a blur. I did a project, Dig Two Graves, where I played a bad guy. But that was one of those things that just never saw the light of day. I did a lot of projects that never came out. And that's kind of the unfortunate reality of doing film, is some of the stuff just, doesn't come out. And sometimes it's not anybody's fault, sometimes it is, but that's a bummer. But that's kind of what happened for a little while. Then I started getting into like the 48 with Robbie Barnes and FNA, Len Ganley and all of them. And that's when it reignited a little bit of acting wise, the passion, because they were giving me stuff to work with and that kind of stuff. And I really enjoyed doing the 48s, even though they love to kill me. But I started getting into the 48, and then I started getting more roles. I did Eddie Langille's Mother Krampus 2. Okay. And then I did the Superman fan film with you again. I don't know if you want to talk about that or anything at all, if we've talked about that enough, but
you can talk about whatever you want. I mean, even the funny thing I just realized, on the Superman, you actually have wire work again.
Yes.
It's like double wire work for you.
That project, cool. I enjoyed that project, and I always remember when we were like pre-production and all that kind of stuff. You were asking me to like look at scripts and everything, and I didn't really like any of them. And then you're like, well, you write it. And I'm like, me? But you were kind of the first one to give me like a shot at making something that I've written into a reality, and that was always really cool, and I always appreciated that.
Thank you.
Superman was a lot of fun. That one was really cool too, because it turned out like really good. I really liked how that one turned out, and it was cool seeing something that I wrote and James wrote as well. I co-wrote it, and come to life.
Right.
And putting on the suit and seeing Ray and Kyle, like Ray as freaking Lex Luthor was like, that was Lex Luthor.
He was perfect. Yeah, he was perfect for Lex Luthor. Yeah, he was great.
Kyle was great as Brainiac. It's like everybody who was cast in that like really was like, oh, that's them, They all did a phenomenal job. And the wire work was very cool, and just like everything really came together on that project. And I that is pretty much now what I am known for in Cleveland, anyways.
Yeah, everybody see you. Is that the reason why you're growing this beard? So nobody can recognize you anymore?
No, the beard is, I'm doing Keith Collins Rumble TV, and he wants me to have a mustache. And so I'm trying to keep the beard so I can just, at moments notice, shave the beard and keep the mustache, because I'm not wearing a mustache every day. So.
Gotcha. That's the reason why. Okay, that's cool. So tell us about for all the different projects you as an actor, which one is much more the complicated or most challenging for you as an actor wise?
Out of all the projects I've done?
Yes.
Probably, I'd have to say recently, probably Robbie Barnes and Kinsley's Fun, which isn't out yet, but I played a villain, and it wasn't just a simple like cheesy villain, just hop in there and just act bad. It was kind of like the first time I just really immersed myself into evil. Like kind of like Heath Ledger with the Joker. I always compare my role, even though I don't know if I was as good as Heath Ledger. I was just like, that's how deep I went into this role of this villain, and it was very tough getting in the mindset of that. And I think it was some of the most work I've put into just immersing myself into another person, I guess.
Oh.
So
you're like a method actor, or you're more what kind of actor are you?
That was like the only time I've been like really mentally like I gotta find this character and that kind of stuff. Most of the time, it's I prepare ahead of time, and then I don't really need a whole bunch of time to get in the mood set. It's just you call action, and I go. I'm never really super, and that's not me not taking it seriously. It's just I don't know. I'm able to hop in there and out kind of quickly. So yeah, that fun, and maybe certain parts of My Film for Love where I would have to get into this mindset for the scene.
Right. Yeah.
But it's always been pretty much action, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Thinking Art Entertainment, as on YouTube, say he loves the 48 hours, but they're very stressful. So for you as an actor, do you have to be quickly memorize the lines, or you just wing it when you're filming?
For the 48 hour, yeah, I would show up at around anywhere between like 5, 6, 7 in the morning, and then I would get the script from Len or whoever was giving me the script, and then I just constantly run the lines, and run the lines until it was time to go. I'm one of those guys that just runs lines, and I want to do it like try to repeat them as fast as I can. So when it comes time to do the scene, I'm able to take my time and really focus on the emotion and everything of the lines, and I don't have to like think about what the line is, if that makes any sense.
Huh.
But that's kind of like how I memorize lines when doing stuff. But also I would apply it to the 48, and I would memorize lines at 48. But yeah, the 48s do, even with not just memorizing lines, it's just like trying to get yourself into this mode for this film that you have to shoot that day. You're just finding out like the morning of like what it's even about. So 48s are, yes, stressful, but I'm stressed during it, but like near the end of filming it, and then after, it's like, oh, and you just made a film, it's cool. So I always do them, and that's why, because you have another film, and it's kind of a proud accomplishment, at least with the groups that I work with FNA.
Yeah, that's true. So I got for all the viewers right now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to jump in and type in. It'll take about 20 to 30 seconds before I check and see them. And you're welcome to make any embarrassing questions and comments about George. That's always, the little inside story that we don't know anything about. Feel free to tell us about it. That'll be great. So, all right. So I got this question for you. I have seen you grow from the Rapture all the way from where you are now. And I have noticed whenever you're with me, you hardly actually ask me, Johnny, my line doesn't sound right. Can I change this? Can I do it that way? Do you do that also with other people's script, or just because you just don't care about, you just want to do it exactly the way it was?
It's not because I don't care. It's just when I practice it, it comes out that way, and then when I show up to set, it'll come out that way. And then if the director doesn't like how I'm doing it, they can tell me. But I feel like if the director isn't telling me he doesn't like it, then he's liking it, I guess. So right. I kind of keep doing it that way until he's like, hey, try this, or try a different tone, or try a different emotion or different inflection of the voice. And so I kind of just show up on set and I do my scene as I've prepared it. And then maybe here and there try a little something different without the director telling me. But most of the time I do it until the director tells me he doesn't like it and fix something. He tells me what to fix and I'll fix it. So. Okay,
that's fair enough. Because I was wondering about that, because like every time you on my set, you like do my line the way it was written. Like, does it even think about it's correctly done, or does it fit your personality? And I guess you turn into that actor and that person in the set. Unlike some other actor would say to me, Johnny, well, this line doesn't make sense to me. Can I change it to something that I can be more personable with? Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that that's kind of loosen out the way that they're supposed to act, but because they're just not become more becoming what they want to be, in a sense.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
So Ken Coverdon is probably one of your biggest fan. He watched every movie that you're out. You with. He had a copy of the Blu-ray, the Superman fan film that we put together. He got a question here. Is George wearing a Funko Pop shirt?
I am Justice League Funko Pops. Sure.
There you go. Look at that. So he knows. He was wondering about that. That's cool. Nick Molbach also enjoyed all the behind the scenes that we did for the Rapture.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually seeing how you learn, how you enjoy the set, everything else. So do you feel, what's the difference between making a short film and a feature film? Do you feel like when the movie is the project finished, how depressed you get between the future and short film?
To me, I do like a feature film. I get more time to, like, over time you'll sink more into the character with a feature film, at least for me anyways, because sometimes with a short film you have a limited amount of time to find that character and like really sink into it. And with a feature film I have more time. Like if I'm not feeling it the first day, I'm able to feel it out the next few days of filming. Not too much, at least to me, there's not too much of a difference with feature film except for like length. You're shooting a lot longer, and there's a lot more that goes into a feature film behind the scenes. But I've been lucky enough to work with a lot of people with feature films and short films that it feels like when I'm doing a short film, it's almost the same as when I'm doing a feature film, with how much care and everything they put in to the work behind the scenes and into the script and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of it is just how long it's taking to film the feature, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that it requires more work and more time
Right.
to put into the feature film, and then a lot of the feature film comes after you're done with the film. You want to sell it. All this. You want to sell it to somebody, or that'll be able to sell the film to different countries and regions, and there's a lot more that goes into it after the film is made and before the film was made that I don't know a lot about. So, but yeah, it's a lot more time with feature films, at least in my way, and short films, it's a little less time.
So which acting experience you had is the most fun one? I mean, you just told us about how the challenging one. What about the fun one? Which one is actually a much more interesting one?
Most fun I've had. I did a film with Conrad Farah called The Brave Souls. I always talk about this now. That was probably the most fun I've had on a set, because there was no script. Conrad would give us like he gave me an idea of the story, like as a whole. And then when we'd show up for set, he'd give us an idea of the scene where he wanted the beats to take place. But then he'd be like, okay, go ahead and play. And I really had a lot of fun just trying to figure out like how to play my character, because I do a little bit of a Clark Kent Superman thing, because there's a big twist in the movie where I kind of play as this kind of a dork the whole movie. And then when the big twist takes place, I kind of switch it and I turn into this badass character. So that one was a lot of fun, just trying to figure out how to play it and getting to just basically play in this playground with a bunch of other actors and really work off of each other. And then obviously Superman was a good time as well.
But that was your project, so that doesn't count, right?
Oh, well. But yes, Brave Souls would be my answer.
Yeah. So what other script have you written so far?
I currently am writing two scripts, a sequel to For Love, and I'm also writing another feature film. Both feature films, the sequel to For Love will be a feature film, and this other one that I'm really concentrating on, because the For Love sequel kind of got a back seat to this new film. Currently, I'm titling it Bleed For Me. I don't know if the title will stick. I just kind of like the title. But it's kind of like a grindhousey action horror film, kind of like John Wick mixed with a little bit of horror. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm really in love with the idea, and that's what you want when you're writing a film. You want to be in love with the idea. You want to really be passionate. At least for me, you want to be passionate about the idea, and that's right now. That's what it is. So I'm currently writing that and hoping to get that made. With I have a few people already on board with Josh Miller and James Naiman filming again. So
Sweet.
We'll see what happens.
All right, so I got the question. Since you did start For Love, I really enjoyed the premiere day when watching this. It's very strong, powerful, dramatic, very powerful film. So tell us a little bit the process. How did you start making that project? I mean, that was your first project of your own, right?
Yes, correct. That one was so I started writing that about 10 years ago. Whenever Taken, the first Taken with Liam Neeson came out, and I love that movie. But I always thought, what if it ended a certain way? And so I kind of built the whole film off of my ending. I was like, okay, I like this ending, but let's figure out how to make a film, either a feature film or a short film, off of this ending. And then I just started writing, beginning to, and eventually working my way up to that ending. Obviously, I took breaks and that kind of stuff, and I let life, the unrealized good thing to happen that I waited that long was that I let life hit me, and life kind of added to that movie with my relationships and everything. So every time I talk about this movie in like interviews, I don't like how I talk about it because I'm trying to avoid spoilers. But spoilers, everyone, I would like to talk about this movie because I get really passionate about the ending. So life, I let life take control, and I've had a lot of failed relationships, and that's kind of where that ending came from. I wanted to show that love is very complicated. Love is sometimes, you still love someone, but that person doesn't reciprocate the feelings. And that was the main draw of my ending for that movie was I wanted to show those times when, hey, you guys have had this good relationship for these years, and then what happens like when that person stops having feelings. And I just wanted it to hit people and be like, oh shit, she doesn't feel that way anymore. And that's kind of because I've felt that a lot. A lot of people I know my dating life because I post way too much on Facebook about it. But,
yeah. So okay, so that's how the started For Love. And what about when you go into the production? How difficult was it for you the first time? You had to get location, you had to get people to train for the fight sequence part of it. How hard was that for you as a first timer?
It was difficult. Luckily I knew I already had met a couple people like Mike Oradini. I used a lot of his locations for the set of my movie. James and I went to Mike's property. He has a big property of all different kinds of stuff, and we looked over everything, and James and I were liking some of the locations there. So luckily I was able to get quite a few scenes done at Mike's place. And then I remembered a couple bars I had been to. I saw a bar in your film Wu Xia 2, Shadows, and I remember asking you about that. So I talked to the bar owner about using her bar, and she was really cool about it. So that was able to everything came together, not really difficult, but not really easy. It was kind of like in the middle because I knew a lot of locations. A lot of it, sometimes when things would fall through, I would get very stressed. So I would, have to scramble to find another location or to rewrite a scene.
So did that happen a lot, very often for Love, or that happened just one or twice?
Not once or twice, but not often. So there were a couple of different things while filming. Jess is going to kill me for calling her out on this, but Jessica Hollis dyed her hair when she had one scene left of current day stuff. So we had to figure out how to make her hair. So we had her like pull her hair back really tight and put it up in a ponytail so people wouldn't notice that it was much darker than the other scenes. So we worked around that and a lot of figuring out things that would come up during set. But most of the stuff that was written in the script we got, minus the proposal scene where I proposed Jessica. I had to rewrite that just because the original proposal was a little too complicated, and so I wanted to simple it down.
Right. So it's not bad. So your script from beginning to end actually almost follows through it the same way that you want to envision, except for one scene. The proposal part may be a little bit different than that. Yeah, that's cool. So what about training the actors? Was it hard? Or I mean, I know that Keith did a good job to practice, get you guys practicing going on.
Surprisingly, that was not hard. You know, I've done a lot of action films with your stuff and with other people, so I'm not gonna say I'm really good, but I kind of know what I'm doing with action scenes and choreography. And Tim and BJ and Mike was really good too. Keith was able to, once we all got into Keith's place to train, everybody kind of just learned their stuff and we're good. Like Mike Carbon showed up for I think 1 or 2 days, and he was just like a freaking superstar. He learned all of his stuff in no time flat, and he got it down and was good. So luckily everybody learned everything pretty fast when it came to like training for fight scenes and the action stuff. So that wasn't too difficult.
Yeah, James Barney just said Keith does a great job of training you guys to make sure you guys do everything by the safety rules and such and blah blah blah.
Yeah, Keith is when I started making For Love, Keith was like one of those for sure people. It's like I have to get Keith to do the choreography because he's really good.
Yeah, that's always good. So I know that the premiere time for Love, we talk about why don't you just make that as a feature or something lead to it, but then now you're going to do a sequel to that one plus another project short film. Is it a short film too, or 2 short films you're doing, right, coming up?
The sequel to For Love is going to be a feature. That one's a little further off, and then the other film that I was just talking about earlier in the video is another feature. So it's 2 features, yes.
Wow. Okay. So you're going to be doing feature. That could be a lot more headache.
Yes. Yep.
Are you ready for that?
No, but we'll see what happens.
Well, no, the most important part is, team up with a bunch of great crew members and talent, and then they will help you walk through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, you're probably going to pull your hair out or become old like I am right now. So, So, all right. So, where is For Love going now? Is it going to festivals and how?
So I've submitted to a bunch of festivals, and a lot of them, due to everything going on in the world, have either been canceled or delayed, and so I don't know if it's going to get accepted or not. We'll see. I eventually I'm just gonna probably like sometime next year, maybe in the middle of next year or beginning of next year, I'm just gonna throw it up either on YouTube or Amazon. I will be making a physical, like either a Blu-ray or DVD of it for everybody who wants one with like behind the scenes stuff that Ron George took sometime in the future. It's just kind of life is like throwing me a little bit of a curveball, so I'm trying to figure out everything, but eventually it'll be up online for everybody to watch. I'm trying to do the circuit thing, everybody, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to pan out right now.
Yeah. Well, one day at a time is what we can do right now with this pandemic going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to show a few pictures, and you can tell us about what's going on there.
Okay.
So we're going to share the screen. You see it?
Yep.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there with you and the makeup.
So this is in my film For Love, and this is when Mike Carbon's character is just beating the crap out of me, and we're just basically bloodying up my face and that kind of stuff. Ron George is phenomenal makeup artist, so I wanted him on the film too. So he does great work.
Yeah. So this is one of this Mike's studio or business place?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a big barn or warehouse or something that he keeps all of his extra stuff in. It's freaking cool to check that thing out.
Yeah, it looked like a little toy place. If I go there,
Yeah.
I can go out.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
That's a headshot I did with Vince Falconer. Great photographer. I love working with him. He also did the poster for my film For Love. So yeah, that's a headshot.
Cool.
That's on For Love as well. We were going over the last scene, I believe. So we're looking over the footage with James Naiman and Robbie.
Do you know the name? Do you know what camera you guys were using then?
Oh, that's a James Naiman question.
It looks like a blind magic.
He's gonna kill me that I don't remember the name of the camera, but
yeah,
I don't remember the name of the camera.
It's okay. I'm just curious.
That was a behind the scenes shot by Vince again for Mother Krampus, Eddie Lengiel's film. I play a huge douchebag who's drug addict and everything else.
Well, it doesn't look like a douchebag. There's that moment, but
that's Superman. I think that's when I'm about to like fall into the ground, and that's why they have the green screen padding there. So that's a cool shot. So I love that shot.
yeah, it is. And Tim Hale just commented it's a pocket black magic. So thank you,
okay.
Tim.
That's doing the makeup on my stomach and abs to make them pop more because I'm getting my top of my suit ripped off, which was a cool scene because obviously but they made a separate top that would rip apart, and they tied fish wire to each side of the suit, and when you said action, Johnny, they ripped it off, and it's pretty cool.
I don't remember. I think we did a whole bunch of takes on that one, did we? Right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, because so that's Joe Fiorella. It's Joe and Nick. They were the one who did all the behind the background for the Superman fan film, do all the animation. So basically, I edited together on green screen, sent it to him, and I thought he's gonna give all the background creator and give it back to me so I can put it together. Not that case. He actually did the whole thing after I sent him the final lock footage.
Oh wow!
So it was kind of surprising. It was good. So nice.
Yeah. This is excuse me. This is on Return, a 48-hour film I did with Len Ganley and everybody, Kayla and Heather, and really good. It was a one take musical, and they started off kind of like in the middle of the short film, and then they kind of like rewind to the beginning, and then we play all the way through the film. But it was all one take. That one was difficult, not only because I was singing and we had to, and I'm very nervous when I sing, but we had to get it all right. You had to get it all right within one take so they could use that take. But that was very cool because the film turned out really good. I ended up showing it again at the premiere for my film because how much I love that film, and I'm very proud of that movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's kind of funny too. Actually, kind of fun to see you watch you singing on the big screen. All right, let's see the next one.
Up for Love again. They were going over because I stabbed Mike in right in the eye, or kind of like side of the eye. And we're going over the footage for that, and he bleeds all over my shirt, and that was a cool thing because. Well, I shouldn't say cool. It was different because we had to find something to stab in his eye because I thought we were going to do it a different way, but showing up, we couldn't do it the way I imagined. So I had to find like a saw blade that I found on the ground and then I snapped off the end, and that's what Ron used to kind of putty and stick into the corner of Mike Carbon's eye. So definitely not the safest thing to do, but it worked.
Shh, don't tell that anybody. That was not the safest thing to do. We don't want to get anybody to say that George doesn't take care of safetyness. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Look at you, so young. How old were you then? 19?
Yes, I was 19.
Holy cow. That long I know you already.
That was I don't even remember what we were doing. We're just waiting around backstage, but I remember those goofy tennis balls that I had to wear everywhere.
Yep, that was basically we can track, I can put animation there, the wings and behind you, and then track you. Which is starting. What happened was that didn't work, so we had to do is cut all the tennis ball and the frame out your back, and then put the wings back in there. That's a lot of headache.
I bet.
Yeah, you didn't want to hear us cursing. We have 8 people cutting you out every day, and then put the fake wings in behind, and then put everything back in the set. So we're like cursing because all the tennis ball and the frame was in our way, and it was hard to cut them out. Oh, but it's a good challenge. Now we know how to do it. Look at this mean face.
That was on Fun. As you can see, I definitely don't play a good guy. So we're walking towards to kill somebody, and yeah. Yeah, I'm not a good guy, and that's pretty much what was going on there. That was on.
How old were you there? They're like short hair, everything.
That actually wasn't that long ago. I'd say 2.5, 3 years ago. That was for Eddie Lengiel's. Oh gosh, the name is escaping me at the moment. The Slua. There we go. The Slua, kind of like a horror film, but I play like a band member for. It's just a small role. It's not big, but I kind of like the shot and.
Yeah, kind of mascara on your eyes too. Like, oh, that doesn't even look like George.
Josh, that mascara. That mascara.
Oh, we're back.
We're back.
Yep. Uh-oh. Now John want to be involved. He does that all the time. Every time he hears some voices, he thinks that it's time for him to get involved, be part of the stop party. All right. So what else is going on besides making the 2 projects? Are you working on other people's project at this point?
Yeah, I just got done filming Mikhail Tots, Sean Manos, and Dan Edwards, Pretty Metal.
What role were you playing there? What was your role there?
I played a band member named Sully, and I'm kind of like a goth metal band guitarist, and we wear like this cool like face paint. We wear this cool like face paint, and it's really neat because the face paint was really well done by Laura and Ron George, different artists each day. But it was fun. It's kind of like Jack Black's School of Rock. That's the closest comparison I can make for this film. It's a cute premise, and I think it'll turn out pretty good.
And that's going to be premiering August 29th?
Yes, at an outside premiere with like social distancing and everything. But yeah, that should be pretty cool event, and I think people will like it. Yeah,
Pauline already said you look good.
So thank you.
So that's going to be definitely fun. And what other project are you working on besides that one, or you just finished?
There's just Keith's Rumble TV. I play a cop, not a good cop. And I got a project with Kinsley, just a little short film. And I think that's it. Fun. I don't know when Fun's coming out, but it is coming out, where I play the villain. And I think that's it for right now. I've been trying to just focus on writing. And then whatever I agreed to do before everything started, I'm making sure I follow through with all those commitments.
Right.
Just trying to keep myself busy.
Okay, that's always important. I mean, right now with nothing else you can do besides keeping yourself busy. Otherwise, you can stay home and do nothing else and go crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always gonna happen. So, with all this thing that you've done before in the past, what kind of a message would you recommend all the newcomers, and what kind of advice would you give them?
Boy.
Let's start with acting.
Acting, I always say to do as much as you can. Go to all the little events when things become back together again. Go to the events where you can meet people, and then also if people are asking you to come to be an extra in their short film or their feature film, indie, if it's an indie film, go to it. They might give you a bigger role, and you might get to know them and be able to work on future projects with them, and you could become friends with them, and then they'll consider you. I don't actually even go to many auditions anymore, just because of the fact, not that I'm against auditions, it's just because of the fact that a lot of the filmmakers I've gotten to know just ask me if I want to be in the movie and they have a role for me, or they want me to read for a role, and that's kind of like where I'm coming from, is that if you keep going to everything, eventually things will start moving. When it comes to the indie scene, because I'm not a big time actor, so I can't speak really for people wanting to make it in Hollywood. Hollywood's a whole nother beast, but it's kind of the same deal with Hollywood. Keep going to all that kind of stuff, the auditions and be an extra in films. But when it comes to what I'm doing, yeah, just keep going to everything. And if your goal is to go out to California, do as much as you can here, because that will get you prepared for getting in front of the camera out there. It will give you a lot of experience, and you always want experience. You always want to figure it out now rather than later.
Right. And then what about as a scriptwriter? Since you do a lot of writing yourself too.
Script writing is, for me, I always try to write what I know, whether that be like, people will be like, well, you're writing Superman. Well, it's like, I try to put what I know into Superman, and I try to, life experiences or little bits and pieces of me, I put into the script, and that makes it more personable for you to get into writing it. It's not coming out great, but but it's just, I don't know, write what you know and really make it yours, I guess, is when it comes to me in script writing. Anyways, I know script writing is kind of different for everybody.
Right.
I'm weird when I write scripts. I don't even write them in script form. It looks like weird nonsense. I kind of write it in like a story, like a book. And then I eventually put it into script form later. But yeah, I guess write what you know, if that's good advice.
Right, that's good. I forgot to ask you earlier. So you being a director and also an actor in your own movie For Love, how did you cope with that?
How did I cope? That one was very tough. And saying this, I'm writing couple of other feature films, and it's going to be tough again. But it's tough because I'm trying to get myself in the moment for a scene when acting, but also I actually have to worry about what's going on behind the scenes and checking out how it looks on the camera. Like James would show me shots and everything. We got to make sure they look good before we move on to the next shot. And if the sound's good and all that, there's so much more to worry about than me just showing up on set, doing my lines, and then getting out of there. It's like, you got to show up early and make sure everything's ready to go. And then when everybody leaves, you want to make sure everything's done and packed up, and you want to make sure everything looked good. And there's just so much more that it was tough. Eventually I adapted, and I also had very good people behind the scenes, like Robbie Barnes, and I had James Naiman, and then Kinsley showed up for a day. And like, I always try to surround myself with people that I've gotten to know over the years that knew what they were doing, so they can help me when I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, that's always very important. So when you were in front of the camera, and do you constantly had to go and stop because you had to review the footage, or do you trust your crew to make sure they get you what they want? So how often do you have to watch the footage?
It wasn't after every take. I trusted what Robbie and James and Kinsley had to say about how it looked. Every couple takes or so, I would check it out and see what's going on and make sure it looks good, and I was happy with it. And James would even sometimes I would go too long, and James would be like, "You should look at this and see if you like it." It's just that I really did trust what they had to say, and that it would turn out really good. I even gave James a lot of freedom to pick the shots that he wanted. Every once in a while, I'd be like, "Well, I want it from here," but a lot of the time, I'd be like, "Hey, what do you think? How do you think we should shoot this?" So it was just me checking in every so often, like how the shots looked and everything, because I really did trust my crew.
All right, so I do have this follow-up question on that. Did it actually delay or make the day longer because you had to film yourself, direct it, also watch yourself on camera? So did you schedule exactly the way, and then hopefully that will end up the same time you leave, or you sometimes had to be a little bit behind because all this stop and go, stop and go, stop and go?
I don't know if we ever really fell really like too far behind. The scene we shot at the fight scene we shot at the bar, that did take a little bit longer than I was expecting, because how we shot that fight scene was from start to finish, no cuts. We just, because James got this angle, and that's kind of how we did it. There were a couple longer days, but I don't really know if it was because of having to stop and look at footage, and otherwise it was just trying to make sure everything was good. Yeah, I don't think that really affected it too much.
Okay.
Here and there, yeah, but I didn't think it was too much of a burden on us.
Okay, that's always good. And then finally, what is your advice for newcomers when they want to become a director?
I guess just be prepared for everything to go wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it does. Even if you think like nothing is going to go wrong, which I hope you don't think that way, but even if you do, something will go wrong, whether it be big or whether it be small. You're going to have to figure out something, figure out a way around whatever problem has cropped up, because they do, whether that be like sound from the coolers, figure out how to work around sound from coolers in a bar, or somebody not showing up, like, hey, well, I'm not coming in till like noon, and the day was supposed to start at 6 a.m, or like, there's always going to be problems. So yeah, just make sure you're prepared for everything, and have a couple read-throughs before you shoot your film to make sure you're happy with your actors and how they're performing. And if you're doing an action scene, which Johnny, this, make sure they get the fight choreography down, because it doesn't look good if nobody knows the fight choreography.
Yeah, very unfortunate. That's very true. There are lots of practice, rehearse, and that can make it work.
Yeah.
That's true. So, how many you've been in a lot of movies? Is there a role or character that you wish that you want to play but you haven't had the chance to do so?
There's a couple. Maybe I've always wanted to play like a cop, like kind of like a detective. That I think that would be kind of neat. Maybe there are a couple like superhero things, like if I'm ever able to get bigger. But I always thought Green Lantern would be a cool one. That would be a pretty neat one to play. But there's not too much that I haven't done yet that I'm just like, I really got to get in there. It's always just like whatever comes my way, I'll take on and make sure I get it right. So
So that's mean that
Whatever.
you already done drama, suspense, horror, action, superhero. What else?
Comedy,
Comedy. Thank you. Musical.
uh, musical. Yep. Boy. Yeah, I've done a lot, and it feels very good to say that because I think this is like the first time I really put it in perspective that how much I've done and all the different genres that I've
But that's
done.
why
And
you're not typecast like most people are. You know,
yeah,
except for
and
everybody know you for Superman. So
yeah, but yeah, it is a huge blessing that I've gotten to do that much. And even though yeah, I am known for Superman, like other people do, have seen my other stuff, which is pretty cool. And I've had a few films like go to Walmart and that kind of, and that's always a very humbling experience seeing your movie on the shelf at a store. It's like it's very even though like I'm sure like other people walk past that movie like a million times and be like, what the heck is that? But I like seeing a film that I was in on the shelf.
yeah.
That is like really cool. And
Yep. So coming up, it's September 1st, Immortal Combat, or Wu
yes,
Xia will be out on the screen. Even though you have a small role there, but your role is very important. I mean, you
mhm,
created the cure for everybody, for everyone.
yes,
Maybe not get
that's
killed, but spoiler alert. All right, cool. Thank you very much, George, to be here with us. I think that's it. We're actually in an hour now, so that's surprisingly quick time to go through. And then
yeah.
your room is getting darker, so I hardly can
Yeah.
see your face anymore. So, no, just kidding with that. We still can see you. Do you have any other comments or advice for everybody who's watching this?
uh, not not really. I think I've said all of that I've wanted to say. It's been really nice doing this interview. I like really just talking about kind of like what I've done, and it's been cool to catch up with you. And yeah, I don't have too much advice. I've never been a huge advice giver, just because I don't feel like I can give the best advice. But just keep if you're in this, if you're just starting, just keep plugging away at it. Eventually you'll get somewhere with it. You just got to keep going. I know sometimes it can seem frustrating with that, with either you're not getting enough the roles you want, or you're not getting enough roles, or you're not making the films you want to make. You just got to keep going at it, and eventually the opportunities will
Right.
crop up.
So we're gonna actually have time to show. I totally forgot about this. Your little trailer for Love. I completely forgot about that. So let's play that, and then we end up with that. How's that?
Sounds good.
All right. Let's do the share part.
We shouldn't be here. I don't know if I can go through with it.
Shut up, Steve. Don't be a fucking pussy.
What are you? Scared?
Where's my wife?
This is more like a teaser than a trailer.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I like it. And then that's it. Are you gonna be able to show have it in public before next year, or are you gonna just keep it till next year to go online to share it to people?
Yeah, I'll probably just keep it until next year, when I've been trying to figure stuff out right now. It's possible I'll put it up online earlier. I'm just trying to figure it all out, I guess.
Okay. All right, cool. That's cool. Well, again, thank you again, George, for being here with me and giving the time to give us the insight about you being an actor, writer, and a director for your first movie for Love. And I'm looking forward to see the other ones that you're gonna be doing. So hurry up to get it going, please. Okay.
Wait, what?
Hurry up and get it going.
Oh, yes.
All right. Well, take care again. Take care, guys. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And
Thank
George,
you for having me.
stay online